We are right back here, and we're going to go straight into the interview with Senator Malone, now sitting senator, who is also the Senate president of the legislature. How are you doing, sir? It's a pleasure to have you in the studio.
I'm doing fine, and it's good to be here, Ernest.
Yes. Impromptu, but I like that kind of stuff, yes. To have a discussion. Obviously, you were listening to the interview with former Lieutenant Governor Los James. But before he came in, we discussed briefly the issue of what is now being dubbed the Malone Amendment. If you read, there's been various discussions about it. All of it, however, it's been passionate. Whether it's been for it or against it, the discussion, it's been passionate.
Yes.
And so here's the thing. Before we even go into that, if a discussion is so passionate right now amongst the people, I think that the bill should have been brought up to discussion and to debate, not the way it was signed, during St. Thomas Carnival. No one is paying attention. By all senators voted it, and this particular bill, the amendment, which is very controversial regarding the tech park of St. Croix and what it does. Now you're going to clarify, you're going to make your points, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit on it. What indeed, you know it best. What's the Malone Amendment? Let's get that out there. What is it?
Before we get to what the Malone Amendment is, you said that it's passionate, and if it was so passionate, why wasn't it heard publicly? It wasn't a controversial amendment. It's a clarification of Act 6502 to define what should be in the park versus what should be in EDA. That's all it really is. Why it is controversial is because of the manufactured response to the amendment, which goes and flies in the face of the governor's agenda to destroy the park, to force the ISPs to buy from via NGN. That's exactly what it is, because it was so controversial. It was so serious. Why didn't the governor send an amendment to the legislature? Ask yourself the question. If he has a problem with the ISPs at the park, you have since August 2030, when your attorney general sent those companies an opinion saying that they are no longer eligible to receive benefits. That was done in the dark of the night. The Chamber of Commerce didn't come to the defense of those companies who are paying taxes. Mm-hmm. They ain't free. They've been there and have contracts in place. Senator, they don't honor contracts.
Senator,
it's important to know that. That's why I have to bring that up first, because that is what caused the Senate to react the way it had to.
Okay, just for clarification and just to make sure that everybody knows exactly, you said ISP. Could you clarify what that is? That's all I'm
Internet Service Providers.
Okay, just want to make sure that everybody knows so nobody...
Okay, and we're talking about, of course, innovative choice and broadband. But what this Chamber of Commerce piece in the Daily News makes clear that they understood and understand that the ISP is already part of the park, that what you're doing or the amendment doesn't really affect that in any way. That's not the controversy. The controversy is that the amendment takes away businesses that were supposed to be exclusive to St. Croix as part of what was already forged.
Wrong.
So that's not true.
That's not true.
So you're saying they're not talking the truth. They're lying.
No, of course. You know why?
Right.
Because those ISPs and all the companies were negotiated contracts between the park board appointed by the governor and those companies. The Senate didn't do anything. They've been, what you see there, what we did was simply just put in cement what's already there. Because of what the back and forth was between the EDA and a tech park, as who should be a tech park company and who should be an EDA tenant, whichever you want to look at it. That's really what it is.
This specifically says, though, Senator,
that it says.
You know what it says? Yeah, that the exclusivity of businesses that were supposed to come exclusive to St. Croix as part of the tech park arrangement, because of your amendment, is no longer so. It allows said businesses to go anywhere else, and anywhere else being within the realm of the Virgin Islands, of course, St. Thomas, St. John. And not that we are against businesses going to St. Thomas and St. John, but St. Croix is already hurting. You know this. St. Croix, of the three islands, it's hurting the most financially. Look at our economy. Look at the Hovenza situation. We are hurting, and so if we have one little benefit that is supposed to bring exclusive businesses to St. Croix, and the amendment takes that away and makes it available for the entire Virgin Islands, people in St. Croix, will look at that as unfair and as an injustice.
Well, Ernest Gilbert, that is just what it is, their interpretation. I like the fact that there are lawyers and judges who could sit down and look at a piece of amendment and decide that it is going to move businesses to St. Thomas or let them go anywhere. First of all, Act 6502 has a section called cell corporation structure. A cell corporation is you are the home business and you can be anywhere in the jurisdiction where the business is. Because when the park was created in 2002, which I did not create, there was no building. This is the legislator you're looking at that moved $10 million from a St. Thomas project called Carifest, along with Senator Ushi Richards was the primary sponsor. I supported it as the primary co-sponsor. I moved that money to build the building in CS St. Croix. So if I was really trying to do something about moving businesses to St. Thomas, why would I then move the money from a public finance authority bonded project, funded project, to build a building on St. Croix? Now that you have a building on St. Croix, Ernest Gilbert, which just got dedicated last year, the same governor who making all this mess with, sat down dedicated and talked about how great the park is now trying to destroy it. That's not the way to do things. Now that you have a building, I would agree. I talked to Mark Eckert. We could bring up some language and say they have to be at St. Croix. You could do that. But the Senate didn't say that they're going to St. Thomas. They didn't say they're going to St. Croix, St. John.
Said anywhere.
They are interpreting that to mean that they're going to St. Thomas.
But indeed, they could go with the way it's written now.
But the way the Act 6502 is, it's ready that way.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening right now. Of this, I think it's like 17 companies.
Yeah.
6 are on St. Croix and the rest on St. Thomas.
Right.
And because they negotiate, but what's good is that all the monies go to the university, all the in-kind go to, which is close to $10 million of benefits to the university.
Okay. All right, Senator. We will be right back. We will be right back with Senator Malone. Senator and Senate President, Mr. Sean Michael Malone. Senator, it's good to have you in the house. We're trying to get the how would you put it? Just the down low, the real deal of the
real deal
that's become controversial in the Virgin Islands. And you've said that it's all makeup, right? It's something that was made up. Why would you say that?
Because if you look at what happened when the amendment passed, right? The first person that came out was my opponent in the race. The letter that was written, we saw the script. That's not how she writes. That's how we know Sebastian Paiwanski of the Chamber of Commerce writes. He raises money for her, okay? And he is the governor's chief fundraiser. That's a fact. I'm not making up anything. They can't refute it. Because people who give money say, well, you know, this girl's having fundraiser when we have one for you. But these guys are all supporting her. So she comes out first. And then we see the Chamber of Commerce with their letter. Why hasn't the governor at that point said anything yet? Because he's using them as surrogates to create this confusion that we did something so bad. Well, again, like I said in the beginning of this interview, if the governor had a problem all this time with the internet service providers, because the first AG opinion addressed all of the companies at the park, they threatened to sue. These people have contracts in place, okay? Then he said another, so for months went by. April, I understand, March, he retracted the opinion and issued another one only addressing the 3 internet service providers. So if you had a problem, Ernest, Governor, you should send an amendment to the legislature amending Act 6502 and honor the contract, because Article 1 of the Constitution is the contract clause of the country. You are violating that clause by breaching a contract and already negotiating, even if you think it's a good thing or not. We commit those things there. So the governor that's why maybe why he was acting quietly, because he realized the legal matter here, even if let's all of us agreed here that they shouldn't be at the park. These ISPs should pay more taxes, because they are paying taxes, by the way. They are paying.
Right.
But it should pay more, whatever the issue he has with them. But then why don't you just honor the contract when it's done? When they're finished, then say they would no longer be eligible, send an amendment on to the legislature.
Okay. So, all right, again,
that's all.
That part is understood, though. And you just mentioned that you wouldn't mind including language in the amendment that would make clear that these businesses, especially for the tech park, remain exclusive to St. Croix?
Yeah, because the building is up now. Exactly, Ernest, and that's right. That's a fair thing to do. I voted for the money to build the building. So now that the building is up, had a big dedication last year, now it's time for them to be physically present at St. Croix. Okay. Any new deals, because their contracts in place with the existing deals.
So you're saying that
that's fair.
You could at least say that the bill should have taken more time, at least the amendment, to be forged in to make certain things more clear, as what we just mentioned. Do you agree that more time could have been taken with the bill?
Not really. Let me tell you what's going on. This is a time-sensitive issue. Now, because the park has run out of money, the Senate had to appropriate $400,000 in the current budget to give them to just operate the park. And if we didn't do something quickly to nullify the Attorney General's opinion, they would have been out of money. So we had to do something quickly, and then we will see. We'll come back and then fine-tune the law at that time to, help address the concerns like ensuring certain things to make sure now that the building is up. Then companies, you have to physically be present at St. Croix, and the building is your cell, and the jurisdiction is only to St. Croix, not the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Right. So because that is important, because you agree that St. Croix is heard.
Yes, of course.
You agree that St. Croix is heard.
Yes.
All right. We are here with Senator Malone in the studio. Very, very brief interview. He'll be back here on June 7th. It is when we will talk about his entire platform concerning being selected the next delegate to Congress, if indeed he is elected the next delegate to Congress. When? All right. When? Like I said, when. But of the controversy, you said that it was something that was made up by your opponent. But however, it's brought forth politics. But that's what
and
it is.
That's okay. It's fair game.
Yeah, it's fair game. I mean, but then it raised an important issue, though. Because you looked at a broader picture, and you look at over the years how St. Thomas. And again, I love St. Thomas. I got a whole lot of friends and family in St. Thomas. I'm always over there.
Yes.
I'm talking about fairness and
yes.
how St. Croix, has suffered more. Our refineries closed down. Look at our roads. A lot of businesses that had that wanted to come right here could not come because certain St. Thomas and St. Thomas decided, well, you know what? There's no benefit for us in St. Thomas, so let's just drop it all together. We've suffered a lot. So even if the issue was politically raised, because your opponent probably want to get some foot in and whatnot, it is an important issue. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but tell you what, you're right. And this senator has voted for everything for St. Croix. My record is clear. I'm the only one with a real record in the race. I could prove what I've done for this district, and I don't even get votes in this district. But my family's from here. My sister lives here. My aunt's on Constitution Hill. That's all compound. Yeah. That's the Horsford compound. That's where we're from. Now, I have to always keep in mind St. Croix because of my ties to St. Croix that I can't even call for generations back. Yeah. So, the reason, but what I want to say though, you're right, whether it's raised politically or otherwise, it's a good issue because the question really now is, how are we going to define our tax benefit programs going forward? Yeah. You have Puerto Rico right there stealing companies from the territory. The EDA program. And it's so funny, very ironic. I think it was when the Avis article came out, the editorial, have a meeting, where they said, Malone is trying to save the park and the governor is trying to save VNGN. There was an article from Puerto Rico about a fort in Puerto Rico that's controversial now. The government trying to get it from whoever say they own it. To guess what they want to do. Guess what Puerto Rico wants to do with the Fort, Ernest? What do they want to do? Build a technology park to copy what we're doing here to take more businesses away. Yeah. That's the bigger picture. Yeah. So when politicians jump out, fine to be disagree to raise an issue, but be careful of the ramifications it's causing already for St. Croix, which is difficult to attract companies to. And then when you send this message that you are not open for business, you just want to interrupt contracts in midstream, run the bend, and so then the Senate is getting blamed for what is being perceived as some sneaky thing, when a lot of what we're reacting to was very sneaky.
Okay. Here's a question, Senator. I think Attorney Mohammed, he wrote in the Daily News, he wrote a piece saying, he basically...
Alex Moorhead.
Yeah, Alex Moorhead. He came against Plaskett, what she said. Yes. And he said that VINGN, basically he said that it would turn into a WAPA situation.
He is correct.
So what is your take on VINGN?
I'm so glad you raised the issue. Yeah. You're talking to the chairman of the committee in the 29th legislature that oversaw the implementation of VINGN. They don't have a business plan on this. Well, we've been asking for it for the last couple of years. We ain't see it yet because we really don't know how they're going to support themselves. Los Angeles has a population of millions of people, and they have 3 ISPs: a cable, a cell phone one, and I forget what the other one is. But they service all of Los Angeles. Yeah. At VNGN, we have 3 in the VI. Well, we actually have 5. We got Choice, you have Innovative, you have VI Broadband, you have SmartNet. There's another company, some broadband, something. And then VNGN will be considered kind of like one because they're the big mother. And you have the Tech Park. Yeah. They're big fiber optic. Yeah. where are we going to support via NGN? So the governor, this is what this whole thing is. He wants to force them to buy from via NGN because he thinks they're making millions and millions of dollars in profits. They're probably making millions of dollars, but understand they're not really profitable.
Right.
And that's another issue. And maybe that's what speaks to the confidentiality of, because these guys are competing against one another. You can't expose their corporate trade secrets on the public record in the legislature. You have to be careful about that in terms of investment community you're trying to develop in the Virgin Islands so that the people can have something. So that's why it's so important to raise the issue of the VNGM, because that's really the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You see, and Moorhead is correct. What ultimately would happen if you force the ISPs to go to VNGN? By the way, they're actually working with them. They're trying to get contracts with them to do work with them. So there was no need for all of this anyhow. They will become the whopper of internet, a monopoly that does not pay any taxes or its gift. But let's talk about VNGN. We spent $30 million to fund and match a federal grant, right?
Yeah.
And a private corporation under PFA. Where was the public outcry? People raised some issues about it, but it wasn't like what you see in the papers about this issue.
Yeah.
That should be in the paper every day for the next 2 and 3 years, because our taxpaying dollars are paying a debt to service a company that doesn't pay taxes. They're not doing anything. And yet they want to destroy a successful tax benefit program just so they could have a customer and find out they won't be able to survive. That's what's coming up.
Okay. Senator Malone, would you agree for a debate with Ms. Plaskett?
No. Because you know why?
Yeah.
There are other candidates in the race. I'm not debating with no one candidate. Anybody who's declared to run for delegate to Congress, debating with Emmett, her, and me.
Okay.
In the primary, it's a primary election.
Okay. Senator Malone, so...
she was an attorney now who was at the EDA that approved a whole bunch of tax benefits for people. Or I guess she opined as a counsel to the EDA. Okay, talk about my record as a senator. Yeah. I didn't give nobody tax breaks, partner.
Right.
I didn't do that. She did.
Yeah.
And there are monopolies in this territory. Let's discuss that in the editorials. There are concrete companies in the Virgin Islands with tax breaks. Monopolies.
All right, so the confusion about it, you came here to clear it out. We're out of time. Here's a question for you. What would you like to say to the people of St. Croix?
I want to say to the people of St. Croix that I'm running for delegate to Congress, and I want to tell you that I've always been a supporter of St. Croix. My record is there. You could go on our website, put my name up. You see all the number of capital projects. That Home Depot project, I'm the primary co-sponsor of the legislation to provide for the opportunity to attract the investment to bring Home Depot to the territory.
Okay.
So I've done a number of things here for St. Croix, paved roads when I was government operations chairman. So my commitment and record isn't because I was looking votes for St. Croix. I wasn't even getting votes from St. Croix for over 12 years. Yeah. Now I'm asking to run for delegate to Congress, and I did so knowing that I was prepared. That I didn't just come asking you for something that I don't feel guilty asking you for, because I've given and served you without any reservation, without anything in return for that, because I believe in the Virgin Islands. And that's as simple as that.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator Malone, for dropping in so quickly.
I appreciate it.
And, clearing that up. Of course, that, said debate is going to keep on going, like, as you know, and it's something you may have to come out against over and over again.
But you know what? The governor vetoed the bill.
Yeah.
So what's the issue now? So we're back to square one.
What we heard is there might be an overriding of it.
There might be an override.
Okay,
well,
so it's still
if they don't meet, the governor needs to meet with the park and determine what they would like, and then send us an amendment. We will be happy to do that. If I don't see something by the next session, an override come, I voting for it.
So you would override?
Of course, I would. If the vote comes
right now. If the vote comes right now,
yes,
you override it.
Because what you could do, you can override and you can bring an amendment to the law. Because once you override, it becomes a law. Okay. And then senators have agreed. We'll add the language about St. Croix and do. Just we want to protect the park. We don't want the opinion of the Attorney General screwing things up anymore. Yeah. Because we cannot send that message to people outside. We are in the process of trying to bring companies to the territory. Okay. And that's the problem. So everybody's people don't notice, but people are stand still all around waiting to come in. We lost like an H&R Block type company to Puerto Rico. I could show you the letter. Because we read about this confusion with the tech park, we have to wait and we have to consider going someplace else.
Would you bring that letter next time?
I'll bring up a copy for you. In fact, it's my email, like I sent it to you. Okay. I'm telling you, it's really true. Okay. So if you don't do something quick to send, the Senate have to lead. The political leadership is saying, no more this playing games behind the scenes. Let's define what we want. Keep it that way. Let's bring them in. Right. And we can make sure they come to St. Croix. That's not a problem.
Okay, that language is important.
John Walton, and better do it. But ultimately, please remember, the Senate only in fact, we don't confirm anybody to the Tech Park Board. The governor is the one who appoints 3 members, and 3 serve from the Board of Trustees, who are his appointees that we confirm, and the other one, the 7th, is the president of the university. So how come you tell me you can't control what's going on over there and everything else, you can't control that? All right, then.
All right. Senator Mullen, thank you very much. He'll be back here on June 7th for a full interview concerning his platform, his plans, if elected the next delegate to Congress. He keeps saying when. Bro, bless you. Bless you. Good to meet you, man. All right. God bless.